too fast. Good thing he's upgraded his brakes. That was handy. Hello and welcome to Beach Out. Today the video I'm going to make is very interesting for a couple of reasons. First reason is कि आप लोगों में से बहुत सारे लोग ऐसा सोचते हो that tune, especially a stage 3 tune, is something very unreliable, or in general tuning ruins your car. Today I'm here to debunk that myth. That is one. Second myth that I'm here to debunk for you is a lot of people out of you also think that VW cars are not reliable, or generally European or German cars are not reliable. I'm going to bunk that myth also for you. The reason why is that today with me I have a car that has been tuned to stage 3. This is a Volkswagen Vento from 2012 which has been tuned to stage 3. There are a lot of tuned Ventos out there, but the beauty about this car is that on the odometer, this car is now reaching 2,50,000 kilometers. A stage 3 car still running on its original engine, about to hit 2,50,000 kilometers. So I'm going to take you on a quick tour with this car, show you what all details are there, what all mods have been done, and show you how this car still performs after 2.5 lakh kilometers. The good part about this car is that this 1.6 liter diesel engine is actually pretty incredible. I, by the way, for people who don't know, had a 1.6 liter 2012 Vento, which unfortunately that time I didn't know much about tuning. That's why I sold the car. If I knew sachi mein aaj mein ye gaadi rakha rehta hai, and this car with me would have been a stage 3 car as well. Well, anyways, let bygones be bygones. Let's have a look at the outside of this car. As you can see already, this is pretty much a daily driver. This is not like a garage queue, this is not like a race spec car जो बंदा सिर्फ जब competition होता है या drag event होता है तब निकालता है. ये गाड़ी daily use होती है. It gets run daily, and that's how it's gathered 2.5 lakh kilometers. If you want to have a look at that, let me quickly open and show you this. अगर आप यहाँ देखोगे, तो this car is done 2,42,584 kilometers. That's less than 8,000 kilometers remaining for a full 2 lakh kilometers to be done on this car. Let's have a look at some of the details. Let's have a look at the outside. Of course, थोड़े बहुत mods हैं, but nothing too fancy, nothing too over the top. He's kept the car pretty simple, but at the same time daily drivable. As you can already see with the tire profiles that he's chosen, he's using a Continental UC6, which in my opinion are some really great tires, and he's using 195/55 R16, so pretty much stock in that term. Then you can get really good daily drivability of the car, very easy and comfortable on daily city roads as well as on the highway. Now the interesting part over here is that he's using the wheels from the Mark 1 VRS, which have been painted in this gunmetal grey color. I think they look pretty sick. They look really good. यार एक चीज है, लेकिन for some reason this guy has been able to keep and maintain his VW wheel logos. मेरे से कभी नहीं हुआ. मेरे तो every 2 days 3 days they used to fall off, and I don't know how many times. Maybe I have probably got like 8 or 10 times I have gone to Volkswagen and bought those. See, this is what I mean. For some reason, I don't know if it was this 2012 wala generation of car, but these wheel ka logos used to always keep falling off. Apart from that, he has got some good looking aftermarket headlights. I really like the design on them. I can actually turn them on and show you what they look exactly, and then they look pretty nice and interesting. This is one of those cars that has been a little too long in the tooth, 11-12 years old now, and it still maintains to stay fast. Over here in the boot, he's got some really fancy audio equipment with a massive subwoofer and amplifiers and everything going on. So his sound system is pretty sorted out. As you can see, this is tuned by Wolf Motor Performance, and as you can see on this side, it is a car which has gone through its rough times. Basically, a proper daily driver which has been used on the daily. It's been beaten on the daily. It's been used as a proper workhorse for the last 10 plus years, and it has sustained all of that. This car, as I said, still has its original block, its original piston. Only the turbo has changed, and that has been changed at approximately about 1,70,000 or 1,80,000 kilometers. On the inside, the car has gone through a little bit of customization. As you can see, the seats, the door cards have been slightly upgraded from the stock Vento, where now he has got these red color, what feels like leather. Yeah, this is proper leather. What feels like leather seats. Then over here on the inside, he's also upgraded his infotainment system. If any one of you ever had this generation of Vento, you would be knowing how basic the Vento was, especially in terms of its infotainment, where यार like कंजूसी की हद हो जाती है कभी कभी Volkswagen में, I really believe, where in my Vento basically यहाँ से सिर्फ एक USB पोर्ट दिया हुआ था where you can connect a USB drive. 2012-2014 में who the hell does that, man? Who does that anymore? Like really? So anyways, this was a pretty basic car when it came out. USB stick was the only option to get music over here, and I'm glad that he has performed this upgrade where now he has Bluetooth and he's got a pretty fancy looking setup as well. Doesn't look like it's got Android Auto, but I may be wrong. Anyways, this is going to sort out his infotainment issues along with that massive subwoofer, amplifier and speaker setup in this car. So now let's talk a little bit more about the build of this car. Let's see what he has under the bonnet. The first thing you'll see here is that he's got an aftermarket heat shield to keep the heat in control. Then over here there is a stock replacement BMC air filter. This over here is an engineering exponent in-house custom downpipe, which is connected to a GB1 Garrett turbo. This is the stage 3 turbo which got installed at approximately 1,70,000 kilometers. Till then, everything you see over here inside was stock, apart from the downpipe, of course, because the downpipe changes with a stage 2 tune. Then over there at the back, there's an engineering exponent, custom made muffler as well. That's pretty much what you can see over here on the inside. Now with that combination of the GB1 Garrett turbo, the engineering exponent downpipe and muffler and the Wolf stage 3 tune, this car is putting out close to about 200 horsepower. 200 horsepower Vento as a daily driver. Tell me that's not going to be fun. And then the grille over here, the front grille has also been replaced by an aftermarket R-line grille. From the silhouette of it, it looks pretty much like a Vento. Not too much has been changed. There's no idiotic spoiler at the back. There's no dual triple tone paint scheme that's done. It's pretty simple, pretty much a sleeper daily driver. The only thing that can tell you from a distance that this is a modified car are those wheels and those headlights. But the headlights could also mean that it's a ricer. Those wheels definitely are classy. Behind the wheels, those are some upgraded Brembo rotors and also Brembo calipers as well. And this entire setup sits, you can't see it from here, but it's sitting on Bilstein B6 suspensions. Also another thing which we kind of missed out is the intercooler. This is running a Garrett intercooler which supports the stage 3 turbo upgrade as well. And yeah, that's pretty much it. With all of those things combined, this car is putting out about 200 horsepower. Now to break down the 200 horsepower a little more to your understanding, this car was basically a stage 1 build all the way up to about 80-85,000 kilometers. And after 85,000 kilometers, the owner of this car decided to go for a stage 2 tune. The stage 2 tune, this guy ran to about 1,70,000 kilometers, at which point his turbo gave up. That was the first issue related to the engine which came to this car at 1,70,000. Reminding you that till 1,70,000 as well, the engine, the block, the pistons, everything was still stock. Apart from, of course, the wear and tear parts that have to be changed, like the brakes, the clutch, etc. Everything else was still stock. 1,70,000 when his turbo finally blew, he decided to go with a stage 3 turbo. And that is what this car is currently running with. Currently at 2,42,000 kilometers. This is, I think, one of the best testaments to both the things. Firstly, that German cars can be reliable, and secondly, that a stage 2 tune or a stage 3 tune can go a long distance in terms of its reliability, in terms of its daily drivability as well. See, I keep telling you guys this, that the reliability of a tune does not depend whether if it's a stage 2 or a stage 3 tune. The reliability of a tune 100% totally depends on how the owner of the car uses that tune. I mean, of course, if you're someone who's constantly pushing the car daily in and out, just, you know, doing back-to-back launches or just going as fast as you can, going in lower gears and revving them all the way out, there's going to be more stress on the internals. Things like the turbo, the piston, the rods and everything, they are going to get more stressed and they are going to wear out fast. And that is something which is kind of common even if you have like a stage 0, if you have a stock car or a stage 3 car. things are going to wear out fast. Of course, they'll wear out much faster on a stage 3 car, but they are going to wear out nonetheless. So the whole point of reliability when it comes to tuning is more about how the user, how the owner of that car basically uses the power and how he utilizes it. And I'm pretty sure this car over here still feels like a Vento when you drive it normally, and of course it feels fun to drive when you go a little fast. So let's do one thing. Let's quickly hop in and take this car out for a spin. Good old memories from my Vento days coming back, and I just realized how incredibly hard the clutch used to be on these cars back then as well as now as well. But the thing is that my Vento put out about 100 horsepower, while this one, holy crap, that pull. This one puts out about 200. So if you have 200 horsepower in a Vento and still have a heavy clutch, I think you won't mind it. So second gear, I'm at a good 1400 RPM, putting my foot down at 20 kilometers per hour, and takes a little while, but man, once the boost comes in, okay, we are at 3-digit speeds. So the acceleration back there was so rapid that this thing, my camera fell off. Trust me, this thing is not what you would expect a Vento to be. And I have spent a good 80,000 kilometers in my car before I sold it off. And now I'm regretting it, because if I knew that back then, if I knew that this is what you can get a Vento 2, where you can double its horsepower for not really too much of money, I swear to God, I would have never sold it. That's why I keep telling you guys again and again and again. You buy a brand new German car for like 10, 11 lakhs, 12 lakh rupees, and after 5 years, 6 years, maximum what you can expect to get out of that car is 3, 4 lakhs, 5 lakhs, nothing more than that. What's the point of selling that car? I'd rather say, you know, keep that car as your second car, which you can use something like this as a project, and just put money, take a loan, whatever, get a new car for your daily driving if you really want to buy a new car. Otherwise, like, this guy is a prime example that cars never get old. If you keep them well, if you use them well, they will keep going on for you. 2.5 lakh kilometers on a stage 3 tune. I also realized, you know, how effortless this diesel feels. Like, despite having this really rather heavy clutch, it still is quite effortless, where you just let go of the clutch and the car automatically starts crawling ahead. This was something which was really good about the Vento, and it still is. And you know, one more thing I like about German cars is that despite doing all of this, despite this car putting out more than twice the horsepower it came from the factory, holy crap, and giving you that boost, it still feels so civilized in here. The body of this car is still in great shape after all those kilometers. There's no rattle, there are no squeaks. It feels like as good as a 50-60,000 kilometer run car would. While at the same time, I mean, it's like a completely new life. It's like a completely different car altogether. With a stage 3 tune, it's a full transformation. So you really have to drive a normal car and a stage 3 car to understand how much of a difference that brings. And if you ask me, because I've driven both these cars now, it's totally worth it. And now we have a little bit of an empty stretch. Oh, and now there is a nice big stretch. Holy crap. Okay, too fast. Good thing he's upgraded his brakes. That was handy. So I am doing about 1700 RPM, 20 kilometers per hour, foot down, second gear, and the boost, oh my god, the boost really comes at 2000 RPM, and it just, the surge is insane. From 2000 RPM to about 4,500 RPM, this thing just pulls. Oh, wheel spin. This car is going to be so much fun even out on the highways. The other thing that is there, like, I got a little bit carried away with the whole horsepower of this car and the power gains, but the other thing is that this car also has the built-in V6 suspensions that are running. And this guy has actually made a very good combination where he has the V6, but at the same time he has the Continentals, stock tires. The tire wall width is stock, and because of that, this car feels super comfortable. It does not feel stiff at all. It doesn't feel like you're sitting on a piece of rock and you're inviting your spine to go to the hospital at the soonest. It does not feel like that. It feels like a very, very comfortable car. In fact, the damping actually is better than what I remember was on my stock car as well, where it did crash when the suspensions did crash, when the bumps became really harsh. That definitely was there. Well, I hope you enjoyed this video. What do you think about a stage 3 tune? Like, especially if you already have an old car like this in the house, which is already done more than 10 years, and you're thinking it's getting a little old in the tooth, get it out like this, get into a stage 2 or a stage 3 tune. What do you think? Let me know down in the comment section. Thank you so much for watching this video, and I'm going to see you again in the next one. Till then, ciao.